This headline appeared yesterday. Economist predicts the greatest stock market collapse since the Great Depression. And basically at the same time, this headline, government has gone insane. Oh. That's what a phased transition is all about. And so this saying opens the article, whom the gods would destroy, they first make mad. Whom the gods would destroy, they first make mad. Was spoken by Prometheus in Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's poem, The Mask of Pandora. Just one more. I think that when you are poor, and most of us are in that category, when you are poor, life is full of distractions. You can be so caught up in just trying to pay the bills and get along and whatever, that a lot of things going on around you and on the planet escape your attention. This one came out this week. The U.S. changing credit card liability October the 1st of 2015. On October 1st, 2015, the day of the Big Bang, whatever that means, the U.S. will begin shifting to EMV. Now that's Europay, MasterCard, and Visa. They will begin shifting to smart card credit cards as a more secure way of accepting payments. Have you seen the new credit cards? They have the chip.
Yeah.
They already use them at Walmart.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Mine didn't even work at Walmart.
Well, everybody as of the 1st of October will be required to have the new credit card as a more secure way of accepting payments. Listen, anyone accepting a card without a chip will be liable for any fraudulent payments.
Wow.
What I would like to do is just make a simple illustration on the board and tell you that the rock we call planet Earth is composed of various layers like an onion. If you could peel it back, you would find the crust, and you would find the mantle, and you would find, and you would find, and you would find. And these layers would finally bring us to the core. The core, scientists believe, and I believe, the evidence supports, the core is composed of pure iron. Iron is heavy, and heavy things sink in a field of gravity. Okay? The strange thing about this iron core to our planet is it makes possible a magnetic field. And the magnetic field is very important to you and me because it puts an invisible shield over us to shield us from cosmic radiation and all kinds of other things that we won't go into. When we say it's a core of iron, it's solid, but it's not solid. It's under great pressure because of the overburden of the earth above. It's under great pressure. And that would tend to make it appear solid, feel solid, behave solid, but it can also move in wave-like form. If something massive enough, energetic enough, passes near enough the earth, if it has a gravitational attraction itself, and even the moon has a gravitational attraction, it can cause the core to jiggle in the direction of that gravitational field. The evidence suggests that once upon a time, I believe in biblical history, certainly in human history, this rock we're on received a smackaroo, big one. And let's just say it's on this side. And if it did have this tremendous impact, it would generate a shock wave. Well, what in the world does this have to do with the little horn? Well, let's try and see it this way. Have you ever wondered why God called Abraham over yonder and said, but you got to come over here? Have you ever wondered about that? Have you ever wondered why prophetically the little horn power at the end is over here, but has to get over here? But over here is where the Garden of Eden resided. And wherever this here is that the Garden of Eden resided, when God's people were over here in Egypt, they had to get to the promised land. I mean, can't God make a promised land anywhere? I mean, we're over here because of circumstance, but we got to get here. What's the big deal? Why does God have to get everybody here? Why does Satan have to get everybody here? Because this was, listen, this is Eden, the garden of, and the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden. And there He placed the man. And the whole history of Scripture and prophecy and all the rest of it is to get us back to Eden. All right? This is the whole point. If you could have a shock wave even similar to what I'm talking about here, you have to understand that in an earthquake there are two forces at work. This would be an earthquake. There are two forces at work. In the first phase of an earthquake, everything jiggles up and down. It jiggles up and down. Now, some folk here from California, and they'll recognize what I'm talking about, because you can know if this is the first phase or the second phase, because in the first phase all the dishes in the cabinets go, they're jumping up and down. And the second wave, that's called the P wave, by the way. The second wave in an earthquake is called the S wave. So you get, and this shakes everything. This jiggles everything. This loosens everything. So if you got a hit here, you got to jiggle here. And this loosens everything. Next comes the S wave. And the S wave takes what has been jiggled and loosened and does this and starts. Once upon a time, I believe in human history, we had such an impact. And the jiggle. But then things moved. So if you had a crack here, it would start to move this way. And the crack would be exaggerated the further you go this way, so that... Now, I'm sure you've wondered for most of your life why, if this is the promised land, why is all of the oil over there? Tigris and Euphrates. Are you listening? Don't want to get too technical except to say this used to be here. If you had the richest, most profuse vegetation on the rock in the Garden of Eden, and it got buried and moved, you would have a whole bunch of oil. So Abraham was from here, and God wanted him here. Well, why couldn't this be God's place today? I mean, if it's shifted and it's got riches and wealth, why couldn't this be the place? Because God owned this ground. And the fact that it has been changed is not a serious bother to God. Because when Jesus comes back, this is going to jiggle again. And it's going to spread even further into what? A great plain. What is God going to prepare the great plain for? Come on. Because the holy city, New Jerusalem, is going to come down and needs a nice place to rest. Okay? So I'm trying to get you to think in terms like this. Eden, the garden of God. And there God put the man and the woman, it says. So when the serpent, which was hijacked by the devil, he's hiding in the beautiful creature. And what is his challenge? If he wants to own God's territory, God's ground, God's place, God's authority, if he wants to own that, we call it God's dominion. If he wants to own that, how many people does he need to deceive and overcome?
One.
No. It turned into two. He already had the one, but she didn't have the authority. You understand? So it had to turn to two. Tell me what a majority was in that day. Right? To whom was the dominion or authority given? To the man. And subsequently to the woman and their offspring. Right? Things went the devil's way for a while. And then came the flood. This might have been part of the flood. Might have been. Then came the flood. And there was an interruption in the glorious plan of dominion and taking over and controlling and owning. There was a shake-up. And tell me what a majority constituted when the waters subsided.
8.
Thank you. Not millions, not billions, 8 persons. And it didn't take long after the waters subsided until somebody came up with a grand strategy and plan to let's build a city. And by the way, it included pyramids, and I don't want to get into all of that, but let's build a city, let's build a tower so that if the gods are angry with us and send floods again, we'll be, come on. So the gods can't touch us. By the way, you might want to look up, Babylon and see what those things actually meant. back there in the Bible. Things worked a little while. They started on the grand plan and strategy of building the Tower of. And then time stretched. And there was a problem. And it's called the Exodus. Satan was using the kings of the earth, listen, the kings of the earth and the powers of government of the earth to try and be rid of the seed of Abraham, whom God had chosen and sworn to Abram, you I'm going to bless, and your posterity after you is going to inherit what? Come on, inherit how much? This little place? North, south, east, and west. Everything. Now, was that very promise, that sworn oath promise, repeated to Isaac? Yes, it was. Was it repeated to Jacob? Jacob's name was changed from Jacob to what? Israel. Are the same promises given to Israel, the reformed Jacob, the renamed Jacob, are the same promises given? I want to share something with you here in Daniel chapter 7. We're talking about the little horn brother. I'm in chapter 7 of Daniel. I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, I beheld even till the beast was slain. The beast was slain. His body destroyed and given to the burning flame. Now, as concerning the rest of the beasts, that's the lion, the bear, and the leopard, they had something taken away. Verse 12, tell me what was taken away.
Dominion.
Dominion is ownership or authority or rulership. They had their rulership, their authority and ownership taken away, yet their lives were prolonged a little while. It says, for a little while. And I saw in the night visions, and one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven and came. They brought him near before the Ancient of Days, and this is what was given to him in verse 14. Don't miss it. Daniel 7, verse 14. There was given unto him dominion and glory and a kingdom that how many people? All people, nations, and languages should serve him. And his dominion, when it arrives, is going to be an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away. His kingdom, that which shall not be destroyed. Would you like to know when that's going to take place? I can't give you the day and the hour, but I'll give you the season. So come down to verse 26 in Daniel 7. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion. Whose dominion?
Satan.
Satan owns it. How did he come to own it? How many people did he have to get votes? How many people constituted a majority when the vote was taken? 2 people. What happens at the end? How many people constitute a majority? When the judgment sits, and the whole purpose and point of the judgment is to take back the dominion and give it to another. So the vote has to be taken, and the majority have to vote the same way the majority voted in the garden. What goes around comes around. You have to have a majority. Well, there's always somebody who's going to kick and buck and say, well, I'm not voting for you. So what do you do about those folk? Come on, the remnant, they won't vote for him. They won't vote his way. What do you have to do? You got to get rid of them. Now you know the whole story of the Bible from beginning to end. You know the whole prophetic story from beginning to end. 2 constituted a majority in the garden. The whole world, it says, is going to bow down to the beast. And ultimately to the little horn. By the way, Pilate said, I've tried everything, nothing's working. He wanted to free Jesus. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put up a crook, murderer, and I'm going to put up the good man, the just man. And I know they're going to choose the just man. So tell me who they chose. Do you know what the name Barabbas means? Son of the Father. The counterfeit son of the Father. He was the Antichrist. Who did the people choose? Barabbas. This story is told over and over and over and over and over again. Maybe we could think of the judgment scene in heaven as an election. Someone is being voted in and someone is being voted out. Jesus said, if you see Jerusalem surrounded with armies, you better run for it. Because, and he went on to say that the days are going to be cut short. Well, why would God change the calendar, change the clock, wiggle and jiggle? And except those days be few days or short days or shortened, no one would be alive. Now, are we talking about the bad guys or the good guys? Yes. We're talking about, listen, but for the elect's sake, those days will be few days or short days. There's an election to take place. That's what the whole vote of the mark of the beast system is all about. The beast is going to be the one world government. That's not the little horn. The pioneers in Adventism call the beast, the Pope, the beast. No, the Pope is not the beast. The beast is the world government. And how many parts will there be? Come on. How many divisions of the one world order when it arrives will there be? Come on. The first time Daniel sees the beast, he has how many horns? Come on. He has 10 horns. The little horn is not even up yet in the image. There's a beast, and first there's a lion, there's a bear, and there's a leopard, and then there's the beast. Let's do that again. Before you get to the beast, there's a lion, a bear, and a leopard. If we can identify the lion, the bear, and the leopard, we can probably arrive at the timing of the beast. So John in Revelation 600-700 years after Daniel says, in the night seasons, I saw. And he sees a beast rising out of the sea. Sea represents lots of people, all the peoples, nations, tongues, and whatever. He sees this beast. And this beast has the mouth of the, come on, lion, the feet of the, and the body of the. So before we can see the beast, have the beast, worship the beast, we have to have the lion, we have to have the bear, and we have to have the leopard. I'm so thankful they are not here yet. And something has to happen that will cause the traditional enemies, lion, bear, and leopards, these creatures are predators. They are fighting for the same kill. They are fighting for the same meat. See? Something has to happen to get the lion, the bear, and the leopard to come together and be agreed on a matter. And what they're agreed on breathes life into the beast. And by the time John sees the beast, he still has 10 horns. But what else? 7 heads and 10 horns. We'll talk about the heads later. I'm asking you to think of the judgment that is to come as an election. Who is going to be elected? But the judgment shall sit, and they're going to take away the dominion from the evil power, the wicked one, and they're going to give it to another. And when he receives it, his kingdom or dominion will be an everlasting, never-ending. That's the one I want. I don't know about you, but that's the one I want. Because nothing lasts down here. Especially appliances. There's an election coming. So in the election, people are casting what? Ballots, a vote. Well, I am so thankful that I'm down here, because those folk up there, they're the ones who are going to be casting a vote. The judgment sits. The Ancient of Days is there. Angels are there. The folk up there are casting a ballot. All right? Aren't you thankful you're down here where no one will be required to cast a ballot? And how will we vote or refuse to vote? Either way you vote. How will we vote? Our conscience, our conviction, our faith. How will we do that? By refusing what? The mark of the beast is simply the mark of ownership. Has that story been told all the way down through the Bible? Haman goes riding through the gate, and everybody's bowing down but Mordecai. You know what the name Mordecai means? Little. That's the remnant. Everyone's bowing down but Mordecai. It's like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. When everybody's bowing down, you stick out like a sore thumb. And Haman's about to fall off the chariot looking back. Who's that? That's Mordecai. Why didn't he bow down? Because what? He's a Jew. And Jews keep other laws than our laws. Oh, no, they don't. We're going to teach them a lesson. Okay? So, there is an election, and it is finally determined, please listen, not simply by the votes of the majority, but the votes of the few, the elect. Well, how can that be? Because they're the only ones left alive. Didn't want to say that, sorry to tell you that, but they're the only ones surviving. And are they going to be threatened with extinction? Yes. Death? Yes. So that when everyone else bows to the beast system, Satan says, the majority has voted for me. And how is God going to defeat that? With the remnant. With the residue, with the few, with the little, not with the many. This is repeated in Scripture. Jerusalem is mine, saith the Lord. I have set my name on it. Is it Jerusalem the place or Jerusalem the city? And the answer is yes. Because the city has to have a place, and that's the place. See, like God is bringing Abram or Abraham over here, and the devil is bringing his bunch from over here, and God's bringing his captives from here. Everybody's got to get here. Everyone. So you and I already know the end of human history. You and I already know how things are going to play out. What we would like to do is have a ticket purchased by the 15th of September and fly away to wonderful places. Of course, we will be exceedingly rich. You know, all those folk over there on the Tigris and Euphrates over here, they're filthy rich. So if you're filthy rich, what more could you want? I'm not rich until I own what? The place that Allah has declared is His. So these guys want this. Now over here, let's see, I don't even remember how to draw the boot. Over here, there's another bunch. And what do they want? Why do they want it? Because God has set His name on it. God sent His Son to this place, and God has declared, I am coming back, and this is going to be my residence, my residing place for how long?
Ever.
So when two people want the same thing, and they don't want the other one to pollute it, you can only have ultimately, it will be Armageddon. Ultimately. Well, here's a question for you. We know prophetically there is a struggle, and there are religious entities that want this place. So the question is, who gets there first? Come on. Who gets there first? The Jews. Do these folk love the Jews? These are loving folk over here. They really love the Jews. So if I were to go to Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 21, Jesus talks about all of these signs to look for, to watch for, and when you see these, it's near, even at the doors. And one of the signs is, but you will be hated of all nations for my name's sake, and they will lead you away captive. Do you mean that the Jews who have fought, wrestled, struggled, dreamed, and prayed for thousands of years that they would return to their own promised land are about to be driven out again? That's a sermon everybody wants to hear. That's what it says. These folk are, quotes, going to get there first. And how are they going to do it? The beast is going to put them there, vote them there, bring them there. Now in Revelation, listen, chapter 13, there's a beast. Who can make war with a beast? And he's going to cause all, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to vote. And there are various ways they can vote. But you got to vote. And if you don't, what?
Can't buy or sell.
Well, money's no big deal, is it? Food's no big deal, is it? A roof over your family's head is no big deal, is it? So if you want everyone to vote in your favor, you promise them phones, rent, food. Are you listening? Don't you understand? But you got to vote. So the whole object of the power behind the beast system and the little horn, when the little horn gets into the act here, the whole object is to not force them, but say, this is the only safe, reasonable way to work this out in your favor. In the favor of you and your family and your children and your relatives and your whatever. This is the only way to work it out. We have to all come together and agree on a one world what?
Government.
Yeah, but what does that mean? Governments practice what? Law. We're going to have law. And we're not going to have Friday and Saturday and Sunday. We're going to have one day. And we're not going to have 922 religions. We're going to have one. Does the Bible predict that? Does the Bible say we're all going to come to the unity of the faith? Yes, it does. It's the only thing that makes sense. But if there is a true, there is what? Come on. There's a counterfeit. And the counterfeit always comes, come on, before the true. Always, always. So what you and I are watching is the staging, the setting in order, all the bits and pieces that are going to take us to a one world order. And by the way, the Pope comes in September. The last blood moon of the 4 comes in September. On the 1st of October, there will be a new don't hold me to it. I believe there will be a new U.S. currency when that time comes. And you and I will probably be given a limited few number of days to take all those greenbacks out from under the mattress, out of the bank, and we'll go and we will turn them in for what? The new money. Now, of course, the old money is not worth much, but the new money is going to be worth. Now, if you believe that, I got a bridge for sale. We know who the actors are. We know what the territory, the contested territory or real estate is. What's not clear in the thinking of most is, who is the little horn? So let's do this progressively to see if we can start here and get there. All right? Who is the little horn? First of all, the man of sin is not the little horn. Remember Revelation 13? The beast. When you get to verse 11, John says, but I saw another beast rise out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a... Come on. That's a religious power. But lamb-like. Is that these guys or these guys? Come on. Come on. We're trying to get to the who is the little horn? Well, the little horn is that second beast in Revelation 13:11 and onward that rises out of the earth. It is the 10 nations of the earth that will give him his power and seat and great authority. There is a voice that is going to speak through him. Look, in the garden did Satan appear? In the garden did Satan appear? No, he did not. He remained invisible, speaking through another entity. So what goes around comes around, and so at the end, Satan is going to be there, but invisible. He will be seen and heard through the man of sin, the false prophet. Don't confuse Satan with the false prophet, with the man of sin. Don't do it. Let's get you over here. I'm in Daniel 7. We were there a few moments ago. I beheld, verse 11, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. The horn spake. I beheld even till the beast. Now, can the horn exist without the beast?
Yes.
No beast, no horn. This is where the pioneers in Adventism and fundamental Christianity, everything was the Pope. The beast is the Pope. The horn is the Pope. Everything is the Pope. Well, almost. There is a power in Revelation 13 that speaks through the lamb-like beast. But the dragon gave him his power, his authority, and his seat. I am. And great authority. So that the second beast makes an image to the first beast, which is the one world government. But there's another entity that is going to come to the front, and he is going to make an image to the first beast. What is it you don't want to do about the image? So the king, the evil king, said, I don't want to just be the head and somebody else coming along. No, I want to be everything. So he commanded that there should be an image, gold from the head to the toe. All of this is prophecy. And when the document shall be read, when the decree shall be read, when the music shall sound, what? Come on. Every knee shall bow. Now, is it possible in your thinking, please, is it possible in your thinking that the devil was invisible in the garden and invisible at the end, but speaking clearly through?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, who is he going to speak through? Let's look at this again. I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast, and if you don't have a beast, you don't have the horn. I beheld even till the beast was slain, his body destroyed, and given to the burning flame. So whatever is represented by the beast, that is the system that grants dominion to the 10 kings. And it says in the very next verse 12 that the rest of those beasts, they have dominion, they have power 1 hour with the beast, Revelation 17 says, but their dominion is taken away. How can it be taken? By the vote taken. By the vote taken. So the devil is going to hide behind, just like he has always done, and he is going to speak through, just like he has always done. When the mob shouted, "We want Barabbas," set him free, who was talking? Come on. When Jesus was hanging on the cross and his, "Come down, if you're the Son of God," what? How did Jesus start his ministry? If you're the Son of God, what? Come on. We need to understand this larger picture, and the larger picture is that the devil hides behind and works through, and I don't like that. I don't like that. I wish God would take care of him way back yonder and never let him down here. But he got here, and God permitted it. Well, surely after 6,000 years, God's not going to permit him to hide behind government and hide behind, men and hide behind. Yes, he is. He's going to permit it. Why would he do that? Well, part of that secret is hidden in Revelation chapter 3. Listen, I know those who say they are Jews and are not. But because you have put your trust, what did they do? If the Lord slay me, the Lord slay me. If I perish, But because you have put your trust in me, I will keep you in the hour of the beast system that shall come upon all the world. I'm going to keep you because you've put your trust in me. Well, my family and I will probably starve to death. No. That's not what's written in the script. I have never seen the righteous what? Forsaken, and our seed what? Begging bread. Didn't say steak. Didn't say Vigilanks. It said bread and water. Thank you. That'll help some of us out. There is a struggle, and it is supernatural. That's what Paul concluded, and that's what he said. We wrestle not against principalities and power. We don't wrestle against 10 earthly kings. We don't wrestle against governments down here. They wrestle against us, but at the spiritual level, we don't wrestle against them. We wrestle against what? Principalities and powers, against the rulers of the darkness. See? That's where this great struggle is going to go. That's where it's going to take us. Now you have to get to Revelation 19 to understand. In Revelation 19, Jesus has already been voted and awarded dominion. And in Revelation 19, I saw him, and he was on a great white horse, and he is leading the armies of heaven, and he is coming to make peace. Is that what it says? War. He is coming to make war, and if you keep reading, it'll tell you who he's going to make war with. I saw the beast and the kings of the earth. That's about verse 19 or so in chapter 19. I saw the beast, and I saw the false prophet, and they were cast alive into a burning lake of fire. Chapter 7 says in verse 11 and 12, they are thrown into the burning lake of fire. So, who gets here first? Barabbas. Who gets here first? And they are dealt with first. Listen, they are thrown into a burning lake of fire. So Armageddon will come in this order. These happy people, these peaceful people, these peace-loving people will come over here to do a good work. And they are going to throw Jerusalem, which is where the beast and the false prophet have finally shown up and staked claim. And these guys are going to, and that will kindle the fires of Armageddon. So Jeremiah says, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth. Joel says, I saw pillars. Pillars. You'll want to look that one up. I saw clouds of smoke that looked like palm trees at the top. Evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind raised up from the coasts of the earth. So, those three entities, the lion, the bear, and the leopard, why do they count? Why do they? I mean, there's a lot of folk on this rock. Why do these three keep being singled out? Because these are the nuclear players on the rock. These are the guys with the big bad bombs. And when God gives the command in heavenly places, loose the four winds which are bound in the great Euphrates, evil shall go forth from nation to nation. And this may be the first bingo bomb, but let me tell you, and the whole earth is going to be conflagrated. You'll want to look that word up if you're not familiar with it. There will be a great conflagration. I looked, Jeremiah said, and there were dead bodies everywhere and no one to bury them. The earth is going to return to void, and there will be few men left. Tell me who the few men are. And in that day, God will give His angels charge over you to keep you. Only with your eyes will you see and behold the reward of the wicked. See, this whole story is in the book. It's all there. The difficulty is in getting the pieces to fit so that you see the picture. Most people don't see the picture because they don't want to see the picture. Well, why wouldn't anyone want to see this picture? It's such a pleasant picture. It's so full of hope. It's so filled with love and joy and peace and prosperity and all the things that everybody wants. No, it's not. So I'm going to say again, and this will go on the tape. 3 weeks ago, Karen Hudis was invited to another interview. Someone sent to me, and I clicked on, and I watched it through 59 minutes, almost a full hour. My opinion of Karen Hudis is the same as from the first. I believe she's one of the good guys. She's trying to do what is right, what is just, what is upright. And she is appealing to the governments of the world to do the same. Good luck. She is appealing to congressmen and parliaments and whatever around the world, and to attorneys and to bankers and to people in high places. Do the right thing. And she closes her 1 hour interview by saying, the good guys are going to win. We don't worry about this coming new world order. We don't worry about this global currency reset. We don't worry. That's not going to work because the good guys are going to win. And all I can say is, God bless you and good luck. Because this book does not agree. Not until 1,000 years after the fact. And the bad guys are going to do away with the good guys. All but a remnant. So Mordecai wrote to Esther, his niece, sent her a message, and she responded and she says, you know, That's not possible, Uncle. You know I can't do that. No one can come before the king unless the king summons them first. Right? And Mordecai sent a second message. Tell me what the second message said. If you think you're going to escape because you have favor in the palace, you're a Jew too. And either God saves the Jews or we all perish. And her response, the second response was, if I perish, I will perish. I go to the king. All right? Is that story about Esther and Mordecai or about... And the answer is?
Yes.
Yes. The answer is yes. So, who is the little horn? The little horn is the mouthpiece behind the false prophet, the man of sin, the Pope. The Pope is the false prophet, the man of sin. Okay? He is going to be ushered into power and prestige by the kings of the earth. He is going to be our peacemaker. We all want peace, and he has the words of peace. Tell me what else he has.
Money. Gold.
Thank you. Do. Gold. Pearls, and one other thing. Wine. So Revelation 17 says, this is how it's going to go, guys. Wine, women, and song. Is that as old as? Yes. So let's do it again so there's no misunderstanding. The man of sin is the Pope. The false prophet is the Pope. Now this is very personal. This is my idea, and I'm rarely ever mistaken though. I believe when the last Pope is elected, and this one is not the last Pope, when the last Pope is elected, I believe personally he will be called John the Baptist. And he will declare, I am the elect of God, the forerunner of Messiah. That's just my take on it. So I'm going to close. If you don't understand it, this is the focal point of geography, of topography, of history, of prophecy, of whatever is of significance on the rock. Here it is, in one word, right here. How can that be? Because God put His name on it. God put His garden on it. And God has sworn that He is going to put His garden on it again. And He is going to make it blossom as the rose. So Jerusalem is key to understanding. Now, to understand who the man of sin is, who the Antichrist is, etc., you have to understand that this is where everyone is going. This is where everyone is going. And when they get there, when both of them get there, it's going to be war. Going to be war. Well, that's part 1 of 13 parts. So simple enough, you understand that the little horn is the devil hiding behind. He's hiding behind. In the garden, he hid behind the serpent. He spoke through the serpent. This time he's going to speak through a guy in white robes, making wonderful pronouncements. If you're able to kneel, we want to kneel and have prayer together. The mighty Father in heaven, the righteous one who fills heaven with His glory. We're so weak and so small, so undeserving. And yet you have opened the windows of heaven and poured out the greatest, the richest blessing that you have to offer. And all these blessings have been summed up in Jesus. Jesus the Christ, the Anointed One, the Chosen One, the one who was victorious over sin and the grave. And He promised repeatedly, I'm going away, but I'm coming back. And I promise you, if you have put your trust in me, I will raise you up at the last day. We claim that promise for ourselves, our families. We don't know how much longer we have on this rock. But things and circumstances are moving so quickly, we can scarcely keep our eyes and ears focused. We're troubled. And yet Jesus said, don't be troubled. All these things have to come to pass. And here we are today. We could lift our hands and our voices and we could make 100 requests and 1,000 requests and 1,000 more. But we say simply, you know our needs. That's what Jesus said. Your Heavenly Father knows that you have need of all these things. If you seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, God will take care of all of those things. We believe this. It's not easy to believe and believe and believe, but we believe. I ask you to bless every person here today. Help us to understand that in our own strength as individuals or even as a great number, we cannot match the energy of the evil one. Only the righteous one is able to defeat him. And so we are waiting for that moment, that day, that hour when Michael stands up, the great prince which stands for the children of his people. We ask that you bless our families, our unspoken requests. Answer them, honor them, please. And you know our present needs. We're waiting for you to fill our baskets full, our coffers full. We thank you for another day and for this opportunity to come together in fellowship. We thank you in the precious name of Jesus and for His sake and our own. Amen. Amen.